Hello and welcome everybody to the Toon Review. You are joined by myself and Billy this evening. The boss man is having some tooth troubles, so I'm assuming he's sitting this one out. I think he's struggling today. So we are here with a latest news show, having a look at all the news, all the transfer gossip, possibly some under-21s tournament speak, because Billy's just been watching that, and it's rather interesting. But before we get into the juicy gossip, make sure you do check out the channel sponsor, Mamoru Records, top left, top right in the description. They do have a shop in Whitley Bay, and they do have a link in the description to check out the online store. Make sure you do that. Please make sure to like, before we get into it, like it first. You might as well. It doesn't cost anything. It helps the channel, helps everybody. It means other people can come and join the community and watch some content about the club we all love, unless there's some sneaky little Liverpool fans in the chat, but we will see you. We will root you out this afternoon. This evening. Subscribe as well. That is also a thing. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. You can become a member as well, unless you would rather just donate and say thank you. All of the above are available. Memberships do get you things such as entered into giveaways and different things we do on the channel. We give away shirts, books, mugs, hats, all kinds of different things. Signed photos as well from time to time. So make sure you do all that lovely stuff. Billy, good evening, my friend. How are we doing?
Good evening, and good evening to all the Toon Review Massive and the Magpie Massive out there in beautiful Viewerland. Yeah, I'm great, mate. I've just had a fantastic 90 minutes watching the England under-21s. Lee Carsley made me crap for the full side. But he did bring some players through, and he's been outstanding for the under-21s, and he's got us to the second final in 2 tournaments. And Harvey Elliott, good grief, what a player that kid is. I'd sign him tomorrow. I really would.
I would agree. I would agree. We had this conversation on this very show. I think it was just before the start of June or the first few days into June. I think I said something along the lines of we should go and test their resolve with a cheeky little 30 or 35 million pound bid, because there had been some comments that had come out from Harvey Elliott. I don't know if they were confirmed or not, but suggesting that he does want to play regular football. He wasn't getting as many minutes. And we need a right winger, preferably left-footed, because we like to play inverted wingers. He's young, English, Premier League proven, fits all the criteria. Cheeky little 30, 35 mil bid. It might be a bit higher now based on, unfortunately, one match, but that's how football works. It's flavour of the week.
That's a great tournament. And not only that, we can't expect Bruno and Tonali and all these players to play the whole kind of season. Again, this season with more games. And Harvey Elliott can play in that left or right eight. He's just fantastic in both sides. He's just so flexible. Great attitude. Never stops running. And he's got bags of skill as well. And his second goal today was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, indeed. We just got to go through a couple of starred messages. I'm sure Billy's seen the same thing.
I did, yeah.
First, we're going to go to Alexander Allard, who's been a member for 15 months. Everyone, please hydrate. I don't want to see anyone in this channel end up in my ER for dehydration. Remember, electrolytes and water and fruits. Indeed, please drink in the summer, guys. You can't just drink coffee, tea, and Coca-Cola all day and wonder why you've got a migraine. They're all diuretics. They've all got caffeine in. You need water as well. Don't know how some of you are alive, honestly. And strangely enough, we've got the Toon Review, which is us, which I'm assuming this is Paul's little way of saying, oh, I can't make it, but here you go, everyone. Have some fun. So Paul has gifted 5 Toon Review memberships to everyone, followed by another 5 Toon Review memberships. So that is 10 back-to-back. They will be spread about amongst everybody in the live viewer list, I believe. So make sure you drop in and say hello. Billy, who will we be in there?
Just there's a tooth missing, so I'm assuming it could be Paul.
Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Well, we do have Paul. Paul, good evening. Oh, bless him. I think it's just happened, so maybe I'm not sure the dust has settled yet for a joke. I don't know how he's feeling. So we'll be nice because it might be bad. I'm not sure. Oh dear. Anyway, I kind of want to talk a little bit about Harvey Elliott. I'm going to scroll through because I get told I don't do comments enough when I'm hosting. So let's go and have a look at some general comments.
Yeah, we'll talk about Harvey Elliott because he needs talking about.
All right, let's scroll back up a bit. Right. So Philip Farrow would rather go for Tyler Dibbling. I've not really looked at him since we did the last sort of transfer show on him. And it's because they priced it out of a move. What were they asking for? Like 70 odd or something more than that, maybe?
Yeah, now.
No, definitely not. Maybe. I'd prefer to go back and do a bit more research before I gave an opinion on that, though, because I don't know. He's not fresh in my mind. I'd have to double check. KT, would you play Elliott as a right winger? I'd always thought of him as more of a 10. That's where he's playing for England.
He's playing all over the place.
He started out on the right to execute that move for the goal. So I've got no doubt he could play as a right winger, especially with somebody like Tino or Trippier as a right back. I don't think, creating some width. I think he's fine as a right winger that is versatile. I think the versatility is a blessing because we don't really have anybody in that profile. I don't think Barnes or Gordon are particularly good as a 10. I don't think they've got the intricate, quick, explosive, neat little passes. Not quite like Harvey Elliott does. They do. They're professional footballers, but to play as a 10 in the Premier League is a unique skill. And Harvey Elliott's definitely got some of those skills for sure. What else have we got? Thank you for membership from Nigel Oliver. So I think Nigel got one from Paul. That's no problem. Do we think Man City will get the same treatment as Lyon being relegated to League 2 due to their finances? No, the French league seems to throw their teams massively under the bus and all the buses. Our league doesn't do that. There's been sprinklings of points deductions outside of the cartel clubs. That's about it, really. No, we had Chelsea got a 6-month transfer ban for tapping at children, basically. There was about 80 of them or something. In obviously in a professional capacity to play football. Let's clarify that before Chelsea fans get really angry with me. What do you think, Billy? What do you think about the whole French thing? Because they do get very heavily punished for some of their financial situations. We don't seem to get that in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? You'd think there'd be a uniform kind of punishment for this kind of thing across the conference, I guess, with the UEFA's being in charge of it. But no, I just don't understand it. They're very strict with theirs. Ours, maybe it wouldn't be so strict if PSG did it. I don't know. It's always been kind of mid league and table, not top of the top of the table type player teams. Although Lyon have, of course, won the league recently. But if it's PSG doing it, would they get the same treatment? I don't know. Strange one, isn't it? Strange one. I'm sure if it was someone like a Wolves or something like that, it happened over here, I guess.
I'm not sure how I feel about it because it's a real shame to see French football royalty get dragged through the mud like Bordeaux, Saint Etienne as well, and obviously Lyon. However, you could suggest that they were part of the furniture at the top end of Ligue 1 for many years, and maybe the rest of the league are happy that this has happened. Because on the flip side, if we had somebody like Man United, for example, constantly just being silly with finances, who got relegated as a punishment, it's not good for the brand, and it's not good for the Premier League in terms of the history. It's a bit of a stain, but it's probably deserved based on all the financial discrepancies and just running the rules ragged, which, if you're a Man United fan, that is how I feel about it. I feel like the rules are written for you specifically, but that's by the by. I don't know. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. And will other leagues take the same sort of steps? I don't think Lyon have got a big global pull. I think they wouldn't let this happen to PSG because they prop up the league financially from a global perspective, don't they? So, especially having just won the Champions League.
They are playing in different kind of rules, aren't they, on different parks? And I guess that'll be the same in England if it happened to one of the teams there. Hey, up. Here's Joe Jordan.
Oh, look who it is. Hello.
Good evening.
Are we heavily sedated?
Yes. So I may act very strange on here tonight, but I'm okay.
How will anyone know?
Just to give you a bit of context, I had my smoothie for breakfast this morning, and I thought I had a chai seed or something stuck in my tooth, so I tried to remove it, and half my frigging tooth fell out. So I rang the dentist as an emergency. They got me in at 3 o'clock today, and yeah,
glued it back in.
Well, just a fill-in, Billy. Just had to have a numbing injection, but he had to numb it quite a lot, so I've just started getting sort of feeling back in me face, you know. But it'd
have been like Peter Beardsley doing it if you just kept on it.
Well, that's what I sounded like at about 10-7, which is why I didn't come on. But then, you know, when you get the tingle and it kind of went off, and I thought, bugger it, I'll go on. You know. So anyway,
well, welcome back. You've not missed much. We talked about Harvey Elliott and we talked about Lyon.
Yeah, Harvey Elliott, by the way. I mean, Billy, I know you've been an advocate for us to sign him for a while now, and I have to say, on that performance there, he looks a player, by the way.
Oh, what an outstanding player! And plus the link with Tino as well down that right side was superb at times. Really was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are we linked with Harvey Elliott at all lately? I mean,
not really?
No.
I think the only saving. The not saving grace, the opposite to that. The concern would be for me is Liverpool can just say to him, look, Harvey, wait one more year.
Yeah.
And Salah's going to go, and then you can be the guy. You can have more minutes. I don't know if they're going to do that, though. They might not want that. They might want to go and buy somebody.
He wants out. I think he said he wants out. He wants regular first team football.
I did read earlier in the transfer window that he said the same thing. He said that he's not necessarily pushing for a move away from Liverpool, but he wants more first team action, and I don't think he's going to get that, is he, at Liverpool?
But this is what I mean is Liverpool could say, look, be patient, one more year, and it's yours, possibly.
I think they surely would have already said that. Otherwise,
but what you need to take into consideration as well, World Cup year, does Harvey Elliott think in his own mind he's good enough to push for a World Cup place?
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, he's got to challenge Jacob Murphy for a starting place. Shine in the Champions League, do well in the league, and he could force himself into Thomas Tuchel's plans. Because Thomas Tuchel is willing to look at other players at the moment. He said that he's trying everyone out. Perfect time.
Yeah, you always see these. There is a couple every time in there sort of come from nowhere to be involved in the World Cup squad. Maybe Harvey Elliott, given that opportunity with Newcastle, could actually push for that. I mean, Billy, you've seen a lot of Harvey Elliott, obviously. Do you think he is better than Jacob Murphy? Is he a step up? Because we want to step up on the right-hand side, don't we? We don't want just somebody else to come in. We want somebody better than what we already have.
Yes, I'd say he is, because I think he's a different kind of player. Yeah. I'd say he's definitely a step up on Jacob Murphy. But it's not just that. It's how flexible he is. He's very versatile. We can't play Bruno for 62 games next season. He can step into that right 8 role, step into the left 8 role if we need him to. He's just so flexible. He's genuinely two-footed. Scored one with his right, one with his left today. Outstanding goals, both of them. Just a gem of a player. And his attitude as well. Never stops.
By the way, I didn't see the finish of it. Did we make the final?
Yes, we're through 2-1, yeah.
Yeah.
It might be worth doing a little bit of a watch-along for the final.
Sunday night.
Yeah, why not?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, why not? Where did you get to with Super Chats and stuff?
I got to yours, so we need to do Trolls next.
Okay, Trolls has gifted a Toon Review membership. Thank you very much. Thunderbolt with a super chat. You know, LFC will demand Isak in that type of deal. Well, they can demand all they want. If they turn around and say, right, well, we want Isak, we'll just walk away, I'm sure. You know, if they're going to play hardball like that, then
we know they want Isak. We know that, don't we?
Yeah. God, yes.
Oh, it's Saturday night, the England game. Sorry, it's Saturday night, not Sunday night.
All right, well, there you go.
Saturday night.
Connor Claus with a super chat. Thank you very much, Connor. Devin Harris has been a member for 41 months. Paul, feel better, mate. Teeth pain is the worst. Well, to be honest, I'm not in pain. I wasn't in pain when it happened either, but I didn't want to leave it. You know, when you leave a gap in your tooth or a hole in your tooth and then it gets all the crap in and starts to get infected when it starts getting painful. I didn't want that, but luckily my dentist had an appointment and he sorted us out this afternoon. So, yeah, well, maybe we will do a watch-along because I think that'll be a good final, by the way, and it'll give us a... I just wonder if
I'll be there.
Between now and then any links start happening with us and Harvey Elliott. I mean, he was briefly mentioned when we talked about before, about that interview that he gave. That's the interview I certainly looked at, was in, I think it was the Chronicle or something like that, saying that Newcastle United had looked at him or had scouted him. I can't remember what it actually said, but maybe there is interest there. I mean, there's got to be interest in somebody. Christ Almighty!
Well, he fits he ticks every box, doesn't he? And the criteria that we're looking for the right-hand side, you're looking for somebody who can press, fairly technically gifted, right wing, left-footed, young, English, Premier League proven, potentially could be at a good value, looking for a move away, might need some assistance breaking into their national team. Every single box is ticked, every single one.
Yeah.
So it's weird that there's not been more made of this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't sure when Billy first mentioned it a while back. Actually, it was way before the transfer window that Billy mentioned Harvey Elliott, and I wasn't sure. But having seen his performances lately, I think he's
very young, isn't he?
Talent.
High skill ceiling. He's the potential's very high.
And I'm sure he'll have a laugh with Joe Linton if he does come to the club after Joe Linton sort of WWE'd him to the floor at the end of the cup final, of course, as we well know. One other player that has been, I'm just looking at it now, Dominic Sir put this in the Shields Gazette today, and I really respect Dom. He's one of obviously the Geordie journos, and but Sky Sports also reported that Newcastle could turn to Bakayoko if this whole thing with Elanga doesn't come to fruition. Now, I think we said last night that 45 was probably the limit that we would go to, but whether Newcastle United change their mind on that and they go to something else, I guess that's
for who, for Bakayoko or for
for Elanga, whether we go back in for him. However, they reckon Bakayoko valued at around 38 million quid, but there are big question marks over the player because his game time was limited at the back end of the season. He started just one of the club's final 10 Eredivisie matches and even requested to play for PSV's second string team for a match in order to get some minutes.
Do we know why that is?
It's a massive gamble for me anyway. Someone coming straight from the Eredivisie. We saw it about United, didn't we? We saw them splashing out money on Eredivisie players and just not doing it.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, Alex, I think he was just out of form. It doesn't say he was injured or anything like that. It just says he played one of the last 10. Trolls has gifted 5 Toon Review memberships. Thank you very much, Trolls. Very kind, my man.
He scored twice in April.
Well, I'm just going off what
was part of a team at the end of April that beat 20, and then played for the youth team on the 28th, 4 days later, and then it was the end of April. Something's happened towards the end of April because he was fine. On the 12th of April, he scored in a 5-0 victory and he dropped to 9.1. He was fine. He wasn't just like, don't know. We'll have to do some digging into that. Something's obviously happened.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
And they want 38 million for him now because I was seeing like 15 to 20 first, but I was seeing his value.
Yeah, 38 million valuation. I think that's a little high, especially for somebody who really. I've seen some comments coming in there that said he was really out of form for the second half of the season. It's a huge gamble, to be honest. I know you've mentioned him before, Alex. As Trolls has gifted another 5 memberships. Thank you, buddy. That's incredibly generous. I know we've done him on a transfer show, Alex, but I guess, all that's going on at the minute is we're looking for alternatives to Elanga, really, aren't we? If we don't proceed with a second bid.
What did you mention a player there?
Yeah, Bakayoko. We're looking at different.
We're still on it. Sorry, I thought you'd said another one and I'd missed it.
No, we're just we're looking around at different wingers, aren't we? In case this doesn't happen.
I mean, it's good. It's good. I'm happy that this seems to be the news because I don't want us to get fixated on players like we've done previously. I think and this is going to come across as quite horrible. And I'm going to say it. I think it's needed. It comes across as quite desperate, quite pathetic, and quite limited in your options and your targets as a football club. I don't like the way we've been doing business from a identifying targets and trying to buy players perspective in the last 3 windows. I think we've been weird. I don't like it. I hope it changes. And I'm hoping, absolutely praying that this is all just a big ruse and there's smoke screens and then it's all going to be jolly in July and nice things are going to happen and we're going to get really good deals, because so many other clubs seem to take advantage of loans, free transfers, interesting deals, buyback clauses, and we just don't seem to get involved in any of it. Not a single one. I think the only one that we did was Lloyd Kelly that was good, and I do feel like Paul Mitchell was heavily involved in that. I think Eddie Howe's got to take some credit to, minimum, because obviously he was at Bournemouth. There's obviously something there. But I just don't like it. But I do like that we've got lots of options. Bakayoko's an interesting one. I've just been doing some Googling. Apparently he became quite predictable, even though he was scoring in April, and he lost his place to Perisic, and Ivan Perisic is a very experienced player. And then PSV just kept winning with Perisic in the team, and it just persisted. So I don't know if that's fully true, but that seems to be the.
Well, that's
the
my point, Alex. It's an awful lot of money, nearly 40 million quid. It's a huge risk.
He is a gamble. He looks physically impressive. Well, the physicality is impressive, which is always a question mark over players coming from that league. However, I know I shouldn't go off this. It's me especially trying to be more data driven, but somebody in the Dutch league who plays on the wing and is predictably cutting inside all the time and getting found out screams of Anthony to me. And I don't know. I don't like that. You want somebody who's maybe a little bit more versatile and not as predictable. Question marks over Bakayoko. I'd still prefer to go for somebody like Harvey Elliott or Kun from Celtic. I think there are other options.
Still banging the Kun drum.
Still going to bang that drum.
Well, still nothing confirmed.
With value for money, isn't he? I mean, that price is just value for money. Kun,
Well, we're not taking a risk there, are we, Billy? At 15 million quid.
Not really.
When you talk about prices of players these days, for 15 million quid, are we taking a massive risk on somebody that we know is talented and should be probably valued at a bit more than that anyway?
You'd think so. Yeah, you'd think so. I mean,
just for context, I feel like I've got to do this because we've talked about him so much. 13 goals, 9 assists in Scotland, 4 goal contributions in the Champions League. He's a right winger with a left foot. He's 25. He's a good age. His stats are reasonably impressive. They're okay. They're not fantastic, but he's a good worker. He's a good worker defensively as well. And then his highest stat match is Jacob Murphy, literally. So I don't know. I just feel like it's a no-brainer.
Well, the problem we've got, Alex, is that he came through at Leipzig's academy. So the pull of going back home may just sort of be enough for that. But hey,
15 mil in this economy,
it is. It's crazy.
Got to buy it.
Yeah, I fully go for that. But it seems like since Leipzig became involved in the whole thing, it seems like they are now number one to buy him. Even though Newcastle did scout him, they sent scouts up over the winter months. Apparently, that was reported. But I don't know. I don't know whether Eddie just doesn't see enough in him that can make a difference or not. But
again, I think we could offer him a good package. We could compete with wages with Leipzig. I think depends what they're willing to offer. I think we could compete with the actual bid of 15 mil, and we could say to him, let's develop you. Let's try and get you in the national team for the World Cup. That we've got bargaining chips. We really have. Come on, play with some of the best players. You'll get developed. It's a no-brainer, some of these signings. I honestly, I'm hating the silence. It's deafening.
Yeah. Susan Fagan says, what about Kubo? Well, I mean, he's got a release clause. Kubo!
What? Everybody in the chat wants to see Adeyemi. Did we not look at him yesterday? Or did I? Maybe I didn't check him yesterday.
By the way, Truls has gifted another 5 memberships, by the way. So thank you so much, Truls. If you have won the lottery, I mean, just throw some our way, mate. It's fine. But seriously, that is incredibly generous, matey. Thank you for all of those. Right, who are we looking at here?
Adeyemi. He was linked yesterday, and everyone in the chat wants to look at him. So we'll agree with you guys. I always thought he was really left-sided, so my brain wasn't even factoring this guy into the equation. I thought he was more of a left-sided player, played a little bit up front. I think he has played on the right a lot more recently.
I think he played against us on the right. I think he played against us on the right, didn't he? I think he's on.
Maybe he did, yeah. But I, for some reason, I've got no recollection of him playing on the right. I've seen him loads, but never on the right. But anyway, we're getting to that time of the season where the data's all ticking over and we can't bloody see anything. But we'll grind through. So he is left-footed, which helps. 23, reasonable contract with some chunky wages, so he's not going to be cheap. Progressive carries super high. Take-ons is really good. Shots is really healthy at 3 shots a game. Maybe could be helping teammates a little bit more. That's a little bit low for him. I thought it'd be a bit higher. Reasonable defensive metrics as well, well above average. It's over 2,000 minutes of data, so it's nice. You've got Saka on this list, Cody Gakpo, Rafael Leao, Madueke, Barcola, Mitoma. Okay, it's a very good list. Very, very impressive. And if we scroll down, he has been around, by the way. He basically was playing as a 3-year-old in the Bundesliga because this guy's one of the superstars that's been around on FIFA and Football Manager for an eternity. And as you can see, I watched a lot of him when he was in Austria. So for people who don't know, I used to watch a lot of Austrian Bundesliga. He went to Dortmund, and he's not been playing all the time. Like his highest minutes ever in Germany is this season just gone with 1,400, which is still not loads, but that is a great return. 7 goals and 6 assists from only 1,400 minutes is crazy. That's really
he had a nice season for Salzburg when he was 19 as well. 19 goals.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's very impressive. I mean, that earned him his transfer, so fully deserved. He's an incredible player. Very, very speedy, very technical, clearly going to go to the top, Champions League level player. But he's going to be on the pricier end. You know, if players like Akliush and stuff are being valued at 70, Dortmund have got every right to put a high number on this guy because everybody knows he's going to be in the national team. He's going to play in the Champions League every season. He's a top player, so he's going to be really pricey.
Jonathan says, Adeyemi, the injury-prone pace merchant.
He's very quick.
Verify that.
He's very rapid.
We've got a super chat from Toon. Thank you. Mark Goldbridge having a laugh on how much we pay Isak compared to what he'd get elsewhere on This Is Football. What a tool. I mean, is he wrong, though? You know, I mean, Isak would get massive wages somewhere else. I don't think anybody is...
But he makes videos about PSR being broken and written for the wrong clubs.
He does.
So he's contradicting himself.
Well,
he knows the reason why that is a thing.
I mean, how many reports have everybody read today saying that we're going to smash our wage structure for Isak? There's loads of them out there today. And I think eventually we will do that. If we want to keep the best players at this football club, we are going to have to pay them for the best players. You know, it's as simple as that. We can't keep going with this wage structure and expect to, compete with the big boys. It just doesn't happen. So it will happen eventually. We will smash our wage structure. It's just when. And Isak could be the man to... I mean, Steve's right. He could command 300 grand a week somewhere else. Of course he could. We know he could. But it's just when it comes from the mouth of Goldbridge, it kind of stirs the pot a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, we all know that he's worth a lot more than what he's getting right now. And I'm sure Newcastle will be working on that.
We've got to be careful, haven't we? Because I'm pretty sure Bruno's got to match the highest earner in the club wage as well in his contract.
Well, that is the rumour, yes. But again, top dollar for top players, I guess. Adam Bell with the super chat. Sorry, Alex, just 2 seconds. Given the choice, Stato, who would you sign, Akliush or Kuhn?
I mean, if I've got to consider the finances and the general health of the club, I would go for Kuhn based on value for money. But if you just gave me a free hit, I would probably take Akliush just because I would buy that type of player. Yeah. I'm very into the whole... It's very Newcastle themed as well with Ginola, Ben Arfa and Maxi. We've gone for that flavour before. I just think it suits us. I think Akliush would be... I don't know. I just feel like it's right. It fits the club. Yeah. Even though Kuhn would probably be much better value signing. Sorry, Paul. I just wanted to bring this up. Like people criticising. I don't know if he's maybe repeating somebody or if he himself.
He's a Man United fan.
He's a Man
Oh,
United fan.
Is he? So 120k a week. I mean, Kevin, mate, you've got to understand that every single club outside of about 6 clubs in the entire country can afford to go over that. So are you saying every single club outside of the cartel are all small clubs? Well, obviously that's not true. You've got Villa with European Cups. You've got Forest with European Cups. We've just won a Carabao Cup. Loads of teams have won the FA Cup. Leicester, fantastic team, won the FA Cup, the Premier League. These are not small clubs. So just because your teams are playing FIFA because they wrote the rules, let's not be a bellend.
Yeah, and let's be honest, if PSR wasn't around, mate, you could not compete with Newcastle United financially. So,
Manchester United finances are in ruins. The rules have been written to favour you. Your finances are completely in the bin. It's only through high revenue from being successful 20 years ago.
Your club is a shit show, is what Alex is trying to say. And to be honest, if PSR wasn't around, we could outbid you for anybody. Simple as that. But PSR is here. We have to deal with it.
You could buy your club and just demolish it.
Yeah. Said it exactly the same time. Yeah, absolutely.
You mean like Jim Ratcliffe's doing?
well, yeah.
We probably don't even need to. They'll do it themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Jules has sent in a super chat as well. He says, "No, Paul and crew. Thank you for bringing great content. A lot of fun. Cheers, mate." Jules is probably one of our longest subscribers from probably when I had about 15 subs. Jules was one of them. So he's been with us all the way through. So thank you, Jules. Now, we need to talk about this, guys, because it is a well-known reported today that Newcastle United have had some sort of transfer summit today, as in a big meeting at the club regarding this whole transfer window. Now, whether it's to look at potential targets again or whether we now look overseas, etc., I don't know what's been said in that meeting or who was in that meeting. I presume Howe was there with his, is it his nephew? And then obviously Steve Nixon, maybe a few of the hierarchies. I don't know. But, I mean, what do you make of it, Billy? I mean, is it a strange time to have a transfer summit? Or should this have been done if we're now sort of re-looking at potential targets?
Well, I thought we'd already had one just after the season finished, to be honest. But obviously, nothing's happened since then. And now Mitchell's gone. Maybe it's time for a new one and, kind of getting ready to loosen the coffers when the end of June and beginning of July comes along. Maybe I can understand that.
It's just got me, I mean, to be honest, I think it's got me baffled because we spoke about this on last night's show. The fact that we bid for Elanga, and then there's all this talk about waiting for July to happen. And I'll tell you something, I'm still confused.
But we bid for Elanga and then hold a transfer summit the next day.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's a bit, it's very puzzling.
I mean, obviously we don't have eyes on the inside, but from the outside looking in, it looks really bad because we're just linked with everyone and there's director of football's disappearing, loads of summits, and I don't know, it doesn't smell right, really. It doesn't look good from the outside, so they do need to sort this out.
I'm expecting Forest to accept the bid when they're going to have to go in a different route.
Of course they weren't. They're not that naive. I refuse to believe they're that naive. They can't be.
Bidding the same amount that they bid at the last year. I mean, what was the fucking point, to be honest? I mean, surely Newcastle United, like you say, Alex, would have realised that, we're throwing in a 45 million bid. There is no way on this planet that Forest are going to accept that when they rejected it last season. It doesn't make sense.
We've got people saying that, like, maybe it's a diversion tactic.
Well, I've heard a lot of that.
I would have agreed with you if this was a couple of years ago, but our behaviour in the last 2 years is not filling me with confidence that this is smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of fans.
With Mark Gahey.
Yeah,
like Mark Gahey wasn't a smoke and mirrors. Mark Gahey was just us being stupid, just throwing money and saying please, 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 and it just never happened. So I really don't want us to do that again. It's pathetic. Like, we need a better strategy. You can't just keep rebidding increments of 5, having it constantly leak to all the newspapers and us just looking stupid. Everybody knows how much money we've got. None of the other clubs are having this issue. So what's our problem?
Maybe there is an additional push of sponsorship coming in that they can now spend a bit more. Maybe, there's some finances that are coming into the club that we weren't aware of before. Maybe that's the reason why for it. I don't know. I'm just surmising.
Well, I mean, I was listening to, I think it was the Geordie Journals actually, and Liam Kennedy was talking about, where are the sponsors for like the training ground and the training tops and things like that? Where is this? What are we doing with regards to that? Because
Where are
it's been
you, Peter
extremely quiet.
Silverstone?
And Liam's right. It is very, very quiet on the commercial front, as in, training top sponsors and things. Other clubs have had that for. I mean, how long is it since we've had a training
things like in post and stuff was a good sponsor, but when you go and have a look at things like the Manchester United sponsors, they've got watches, pillowcase sponsors, cigar sponsors. They've got absolutely anything and everything. Where's all of that for us?
And I mean, Peter Silverstone, since he came to the club, I mean, I think Sally was already done before he got here. I think the Noon one was already done before he got here. He's not been doing much, has he, in the way of bringing sponsors into the club?
Doesn't seem to have. And
at all.
He's very, very quiet. But
we have a £50 million prize fund for the Cellar Cup.
Yeah. Eric Amaral with a super chat saying we need to spend and consistently get into the Champions League every season in order to get to the next level. Revenue will explode. Money makes money. Well, it does, but if we're not, I mean, I can't believe that Silverstone's not actively out there trying to gain sponsors.
Sponsors are surely interested. We've just won a cup. We're in the Champions League. We've got like Isak, Bruno, Tonali. We're clearly going up. How would nobody be interested in getting on board with that?
Yeah, the whole thing just does not make sense. The whole thing at the minute is puzzling. The transfer summit today, the bid for Elanga the day before. It's and now, again, the commercial side. It's all very hush hush. But listen, it may well be that it's smoke and mirrors with regards to putting bids in and interest in players. But I think if that was genuinely the case, I think we'd have made a move for somebody by now. And I think we're trying to, I think a lot of fans are trying to say smoke and mirrors, I don't know, to keep them confident that something's going to, that we are going to get the players we need. And I don't necessarily blame them for that because of the stuff we've been through in previous windows. Nobody knows how much
the
money we have.
Mark Gahey saga makes me feel like we don't have the capacity to play a clever game of smoke and mirrors because we did that so silly and so publicly.
Matt Lou says perhaps the new CEO might look into those loopholes.
No, we don't even have one yet. So
yeah. K-Max says, where's that gone? That's just flew past me. I reckon the summit probably just a regroup, see what's the story with other teams' PSR issues.
Could be.
Yeah, could be. It just, the thing is, I just wonder if and listen, I'm just talking hypothetically here, but I genuinely wonder if there is a concern behind the scenes that it is a little bit still, it is a little bit quiet, given the magnitude of the season we're about to go into. Because we said last night that we have to get the right players, Billy. We have to bring the right players in. This is a big window for us, and I'm just wondering, as a fan looking from the outside in, is there a little bit of panic behind the scenes, a bit of concern?
It's not just good players. We need a few good players. It's, we've got to make that squad. So we've got virtually replacements in every position if we can do it. And we're nowhere near that, are we? So I can understand why there is panic. And I think clubs realise that we're panicking, and that's why they're pushing this tax on top. Without the fact that there's a Newcastle tax on top of that, or Saudi tax, clubs know that we're kind of panicking for signings, or it's perceived that anyway. I think it's that. So, it's catch-22. If you don't look panicky, you get cheaper bids, I guess, but it's obvious that we're not. So,
I mean, the thing is, I'm just looking through some headlines right now, and what stands out to me quite a few times is that Eddie Howe personally wants. When they're talking, they're linking players and saying he's a player that Eddie Howe personally wants. And I'm seeing that written down loads of times. And, if Eddie Howe personally wants him, if he's sort of leading the way now to bring in players, then go and get them. You know, if you personally want them, let's be aggressive here and go and get them. Because there's obviously...
That's got to be the case, though. I mean, the manager must personally want the incomings,
Well,
even if there's a sporting director there. But now there's not, even more so.
Yeah.
We need to be careful with the money. We really do. This is such an important window. Like last summer, I don't know if you guys remember, but we were talking about last summer was a really big one, and we needed to get it right. Otherwise, it was unlikely we were going to get Champions League or push for a cup. Obviously, we were all wrong, and we got both. But Eddie Howe had to get a real big turnaround out of that team because we were looking pretty bad in November, early December. He turned it round with like 9 wins on the trot and absolutely steamrolled it through sheer grit and determination with that group.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's unfair and unrealistic of all of us to maybe suggest, I don't think that's going to cut it again.
No.
We're going to need some more players that are, like Billy said, we need a few good players, not just a good player. And I don't want us getting held to ransom because Man City have just made 3 signings for a Manchester City team. That this is a team that wants to go and win trebles again, presumably. None of them cost more than 55 mil. Cherki, Aït-Nouri and Reinders, none of them, you know, there was between 40 to 55 for those signings. So if those are Man City caliber sort of signings, I don't want us going out and spending 55, 60 on somebody like Alanga. I don't think it's appropriate. I think there is value to be had. And I think we just need to, maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe we are sticking to our guns. Maybe that's why we've had a summit.
Tyneside update says, Paul, do you reckon Trafford is done with Burnley announcing a keeper today?
You never know.
I think he's probably going to be the first one announced.
Doesn't hurt the chances, does it?
No. I mean, look, they've obviously gone for a keeper for a reason. And he's not really a backup goalkeeper who they've signed either. So that does point towards the fact that Trafford looks like he's leaving. So I wouldn't be surprised, put it that way, that he would get announced. But the interesting thing for that is all the reports were saying that Newcastle will announce this in July, which was interesting. And then obviously Alanga happened yesterday, the bid for Alanga. So everything just does not make sense.
Yeah, but they can still put it forward in July, can't they?
Well, yeah, but it's just everything seems a little bit backwards. And I hope that we're not paying £40 million for Trafford, because I think that's a little bit too much, especially in the other positions that we need.
You never know. If he becomes the England number 1 and plays for 10 years, then it's money well spent. So
absolutely.
And he looks like he's definitely got that potential. So I think it's a fair risk. And nowadays, goalkeepers do cost that much. You know, going out and getting big goalkeepers, a lot of the top clubs were paying 60, 70 mil for these goalkeepers. So, yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? But a few comments talking about Eddie Howe, and we shouldn't necessarily question him. To a degree, yeah, I think. Do we owe Eddie Howe? I say we owe. We don't owe him anything. You know, we're just fans of the club, and we have our own opinions.
I don't think we're questioning Eddie Howe. I don't think we're questioning them.
It's just the fact that it's such a different role. He's not a scout or a director of football or a technical director or a head of recruitment. He's the manager, and has he earned the right to maybe have a pop at doing this himself with his team? I mean, I guess he has. He's pulled some absolute miracles out of thin air.
Well, he did it at Bournemouth reasonably successfully as well, didn't he? So he has. It
just worries me because I love the club, because I will love the club when Eddie Howe's no longer there.
Well, yeah,
and most of us all will. So I care more about the long-term health of the club than just Eddie Howe as a person. And if this doesn't go well, it could stunt the 5 to 10 year project. So he's got to get this right this next window, because look at how long we've had to spend tidying up our finances to get a chance at this window again. We had to spend 3 windows cleaning the books.
Yeah.
So if we get this wrong, it's going to be a nightmare. So it's got to be a good window.
A little bit off track, but this one caught my eye. Great show, Paul, says Scott. Quick question. How many glasses of water do you guys drink a day? Just out of interest. I'm not sure how many glasses I drink, but I drink around about 1,800 milliliters of water a day.
Yeah, I drink 2 litres.
So quite a lot.
Flavoured water.
See, I just put ice into me big water bottle now, and fill it up with water, and away I go. Since I've been on this new health move, so yeah, quite a lot. Alex, what do you go through? Quite a lot of water. Your mic's off, mate.
Yeah, I have about 4-ish litres because I'll have about 2.5 litre bottles and then maybe some in a protein shake or other bits and bobs. 3 to 4 litres ish.
Yeah. Let us know why you're asking that. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. Anyway, we spoke about this. Broke last night, obviously, when we're on the back end of our show, that Lyon were, of course, hit with a relegation to Ligue 2 in France. Now, it looks basically like they're going to appeal, and they will keep appealing until they can possibly stop appealing. But they're not going to let this go, apparently. But all the headlines are this morning that there is going to be some sort of fire sale at Lyon this coming summer. And the player that's been linked with us again today is Malik Fofana. Now, of course, we briefly touched on him last night. I spoke about him in a video not long ago. Fofana is quite the player. He had a breakout season last year, and I don't think I'd be too unhappy if we sign this guy. He's 20-year-old.
I haven't actually watched him, so I mean we can look at him, but
he's 20-year-old. He got 11 goals and 6 assists for Lyon last season in 41 appearances. Now he's valued at £40 million at the moment, but the state of play with Lyon, they may well not be able to dictate prices like that if they are indeed in Ligue 2 next season. So there could be a very good chance to get him for a lot cheaper. Have you seen much of him, Billy?
Not an awful lot. Yes, I agree with you with the financial situation that Lyon are in. That he could be cheaper. However, I think there'll be a lot of clubs after him, so maybe that'll push the price back up again.
Oh, I'll tell a lie. I have seen him because I watched the Lyon Manchester United stuff, so I just wasn't actively watching him.
Is he Belgian?
He is Belgian, yeah.
I think I've seen him,
yeah.
I've got his stuff up if you want to have a look. So we'll have to interpret this together.
By the way, that photo was taken a long time ago, by the way, because the one I've got in front of me, he has a huge afro now last season.
There you go. That's him now. That's him when he was just a baby.
Just a wee Ben.
So his position, according to FBref, is all of the positions.
Yeah.
Apparently so. Well, where does he primarily play, Paul?
He primarily plays on the left.
Yeah. Left-sided. Okay.
Yeah, which is going to get everybody saying, well, what the hell? We're looking at a left-sided player for.
Well, he's left-footed, which I like, because we don't have many of them in the squad.
Yeah.
Most of our left-footers are defenders. We got rid of Miggy and stuff. Not that he was super helpful as a lefty. But yeah, I mean,
well, I watch a lot of obviously the Bundesliga and Liga and stuff like that. And I saw, I think on 3 occasions at least last season, Fofana was on the right. So he can play there.
We'll have a look. Well, he's trusted for a young man. At 20 years old as an attacker, he's got from 1,500 minutes 9 goal contributions in the league is really, really good. He's overperformed marginally, so it's not a crazy overperformance. Yeah. However, he did hugely overperform in the Europa League. 6 goals from only 2.2 xG is crazy. He's nearly tripled his xG there. His general stats are quite nice. A very, very healthy 6.72 progressive carries per 90, top 2% in Europe. Brilliant for a 20-year-old. That's fantastic. A few interesting bits here. Shot volume's fairly low. Yeah, I mean his numbers are okay.
Shot volume's low, but he's still scoring goals.
Remember, he's only 20, and if anybody can bring this guy on, it's somebody like Eddie Howe. And somebody had a go at me in the comments of last night's show, by the way, for telling me to stop bigging up Eddie Howe for signing youngsters and bringing them on. And stop kissing his ass and blowing smoke up his ass. I mean, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever read in my life.
Literally, Tina Livramento and Lewis Hall exist.
Yeah, Joe Linton more than anybody, by the way. Let's not forget Big Joe. And look, Jacob Murphy. I mean, come on. How can you not say that Eddie Howe cannot bring players on? Because he's got a track record. So I'm sorry, but if we got Fofana in, then I'm perfectly confident that we have the manager to take him to the next level.
Well, he's already profiling very similarly to Barnes and Gordon anyway, which is very curious. They're both on this list.
So is Gittins, who we've been linked with.
Yeah, Madueke, and there's a lot of interesting players on that list.
Yeah.
Should we have a look at his proper stuff? I don't know if he's actually 169. That is awfully small. What's that?
Well,
like
but his afro takes him to 6'8".
No, it's not 5'6". It's 5'7". I guess 5'7". I mean, that's sort of Ryan Fraser height, isn't it? It's acceptable.
Oh, do we have to mention it? Why on earth would you mention him?
Oh dear.
Why on earth would Ryan Fraser's name come into your mind there, Alex? There's no need for that.
Right. Well, let's have a look at his sort of season end. We've got March onwards. Part of some good wins, a win there, dropping reasonable scores. Scored in a 4-2 win over Le Havre, which was interesting.
Very consistent.
Have a look how he lined up. He lined up. Where are we looking at? Did he not start?
No.
Did he start?
He hasn't started a lot of games, Alex.
Came on in the 71st minute.
Yeah.
Dropped to 7.5 and did really, really well. On the left, a couple of shots. His goal was right inside the 6-yard box. Careful with the ball. Got stuck in. Ground jewels wise. Careful passing wise. A key pass. Yeah, really, really, really solid. He played in the Man United game. Dropped to 7.1. They did lose. I don't know if he came on as a sub in this game. We can see. It looks like he did. Yeah, it was Mikhail Tadze and Ryan Cherky who were getting the nod. So when did he come on? He came on the 64th minute for the Georgian. Didn't do too much. Yeah, I mean, it's to be fair, it's very flattering scores for him. He's popping it with goals. He is used as a substitute, but he's clearly respected. Again, I can't really give too much of an opinion because I haven't watched him play.
But to be fair, he's got some really good players in front of him. You know, so
of course,
a 20-year-old as well. Lyon are trying to bring him on and nurture him as any other club would at that age.
So he's got right midfield, right winger listed as another position. We can go and check how many appearances he's done on there. No, Stephen, we're not doing Thiago Almada because we're not linked to him. But yes, he's a good player. Belgium/Guinea.
Belgian Guinea, yeah. He swaps sides. You know, the times I've watched Lyon, they do swap a lot, which I guess it gives each winger an opportunity. That's what we were crying out for last season, wasn't it? To swap over a few times.
Well, if we were deciding, I'd be able to swap sides from Belgium to Guinea, and he's out for January.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was meaning for a minute. No, it looks like he is. It looks like he's capped for Belgium. So
yeah, he's had one cap.
Tough luck.
If it's a friendly, it won't matter, will it?
Well,
it's got to be a.
I mean, it looks like he's in the running to play for Belgium. He's played for them all the way, unless he drops off and doesn't get in, and then he might change his allegiances. But it looks like he's going to play for Belgium. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Market values, I mean, 30 mil is a very high value, to be fair. But yeah, it could be a fire sale. It's an interesting one. I don't know enough about him, but it's a curious pick for sure.
Agent Tech with a super chat saying, the thing is, Paul, we can bid and do the paperwork pay in July. Rufiat Benisian says, Newmar, the right winger is better, but he's got an ACL. Well, bring him in. It seems like we're linked with everybody who's had ACLs, and you know we are the club of ACL injuries. So
I look bigger on an iPhone.
Neumar sounds like a Manchester United signing, like Højlund, which sounds like Haaland. Neumar sounds a little bit like Neymar.
Yeah, interesting. Newcastle United avoid disastrous deal. Let's have a look at this. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Newcastle United have suffered plenty of transfer setbacks this summer. No shit. But not every deal they've missed out on should be seen as negative. He's talking about Mbuemo. Interesting. Let's have a look further down. Oh, we don't want Kwanzaa. Is he not gone somewhere else?
He's off to Leverkusen.
By Leverkusen.
Yeah.
He played well today. Yeah, he had a good game today.
Doesn't really explain that headline, so we'll not even bother talking about it. I mean, I must admit, I mean, after the show last night, we were saying that, we were looking forward to a show tonight because we were hoping that there was going to be more transfer pushes, I guess. But at the minute, I mean, when would you say? Because listen, I think Eddie's got the guys back around 6th or the 7th of next month. Is that right?
Yep. For training.
Yeah. So if you go back to Eddie's comments before the window, he said that he wanted players in quickly.
Yeah, but I think that
does that mean does he want them in before I mean, surely he want them in before pre-season. Surely
that's changed with the Paul Mitchell thing.
I would imagine so, yes.
Because obviously they wouldn't have released that he was staying until the 30th of June if that wasn't the plan.
Mm.
So obviously things have changed because he left earlier. They were not able to be in any sort of alignment in regards to recruitment while he was still there. It became
apparently he hasn't left, Alex. He's still there. He's just handing over the reins. Yeah, he's still there.
But I thought he was staying until the end of June, and then it turned out that it was gone.
No, yeah, apparently he wasn't. This is what Craig Hope and Luke Edwards were arguing about. Apparently, all he's doing is literally handing the reins over to Nixon and Howe. But he will be there till the end of June. The whole thing is just a mess. It is a mess. But I mean, I would think he'd want. Hang on, what was that? Jilly saying, "Oh my God, I was on a Liverpool live stream, so adamant that Isak was going to Liverpool. It's pathetic." They are. I don't get where they're getting their news from. I really don't. Maybe the moon.
You can have Isak if you want Isak, but you're going to have to break the transfer record. You're going to have to bid an absolute enormous pot of gold. Do it. I dare you.
Yeah.
Do it.
I mean, they're showing delusion of an Arsenal fan nature.
Bid 150.
Not all of them, to be fair. There's one or two, but I think there'd be one or two Newcastle fans if it was different,
If Coutinho was worth 120 mil all those years ago, then I'm sorry, Alexander Isak is most definitely 150. You guys broke the market. Deal with it. Not our problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd want more than 150. I'd want 180 to 200 for him personally.
I know they're crying about the fee, but it's not us that broke the market. Not our problem.
No, it's not. But anyway, there you go. Sorry we can't bring you a transfer or a signing or anything at the moment, but hey, the discussion is always there. There is frustration mounting amongst a lot of fans, but we'll try and keep feet on the ground here. And, we've got plenty of time before pre-season start. Well, a couple of weeks before pre-season starts. Hopefully, we will start pre-season with quite a few additions going on, certainly to play in the pre-season games, etc. Which Eddie will want that. You wouldn't want to start the new season just throwing these new signings in.
We don't want Jota, mate. We don't want him.
You don't want Jota. What are you talking about?
Jota. Why would we want Jota?
You keep saying Jota. We don't want Jota.
I don't get where this Jota thing's come from.
We're not going to do player plus cash deals. There's PSR exists now. That's not going to happen.
If you
the chairman said it's not for sale. It'll take £150 million just to get him to the table. So take us out of what you will.
Yep, absolutely. Simple as that. So there you go. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have enjoyed the show, please give it a like. And, of course, please do subscribe if you're new and you like what you see. Free to do so. All we ask is that you hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload or a live show in the future. I know Stato went through all the spiel at the start, so it saves me a job. Thank you very much for your super chats and memberships. Mods, thank you. Alex and Billy, thank you. And Alex, thank you for opening the show. And big thank you to everyone out there who's watched tonight. Thank you so much for all of your support. We really do appreciate it. Keep voting for us, guys, in the Football Content Awards. All your information is pinned in the description for this show about what category to put us in, etc. Please keep those votes going. It is really very important what you put on the entrance form this time. The voting form, because the judges look at all of that this year. So it is very, very important. Thank you to everybody that's done it so far. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening, folks. We'll pray for something to happen in the next couple of days. But until then, take care. Good night.
Well, that's and that's
Come back and check out the